for your time, right? For accepting to be sharing your experience with us today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Bruno. I'm a PMO leader in financial services institution, and it's a pleasure to have my good friend Ahmet joining us today. I met Ahmet a while ago, and his career trajectory is very very impressive. But above everything, he's a great person. He has a great personality. He's became a good friend of mine as well, and I couldn't think of a better person to be talking about this topic that we have today, which is how can we build trust for our PMOs, right? How can our PMOs survive without trust? So it's a very sensitive topic, Ahmet. I was talking to a few other PMO leaders this week, and we're talking exactly about that, right? So, some of those PMO leaders, they are going through big changes in the organization. And one of the challenges they have to overcome is really that, they at some point the PMO was not really providing the value that the organization was looking for. And therefore, people are finding ways to bypass the PMO governance, so they're finding ways to manage projects without getting the PMO involved. So, the PMO didn't have the trust of the organization. How can you overcome that challenge, right? So I think the topic today is a great topic. My previous webinar, we're talking about trust as well with Dr. Tony. He was my guest speaker last time. So this is going to be a great conversation. So thanks again for your time. And so Ahmet, before I jump into the questions that I have, I want to make sure that everybody here feels comfortable to ask questions as well, because this is a group of friends, right? So it's not only me asking questions to Ahmet, and Ahmet is on a pedestal here to share experiences. I was talking to Ahmet before we start the call that we want to learn as much as we are sharing today. So if you guys have any cases, or if you guys want to share insights or ask questions, please feel free to do so. So Ahmet, I don't want to underestimate your experience here, my friend. So I guess I would like to ask you first if you can introduce yourself and let us know, the work you do, your experience working in PMOs as well, so everybody can get to know you a little bit more.
Thank you, Bruno. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. It's truly a pleasure to be here today. And thank you again for taking the time to have me. So my journey in PMO world started in the banking and financial sector, where I was involved in leading and transforming PMOs to align with business strategy. So over the years, I've worked on a lot of major digital transformation, like programs, including the core banking that we're working on it now, and AI-driven data analytics, and many large IT as well as business implementations on large scales. So I've also had the opportunity to contribute to the thought leadership in PMO governance and AI, and project management, particularly through PMI and PMOGA, where I'm working as a regional online experience lead recently, and we are handling the MENA region as well as the Africa region. So so we just get started, and hopefully it will be good, a very big thing for all of us as a PMOs. And in terms of the trust, I totally agree with you about the topic itself. It's very sensitive, yeah, to be frank. And in this part of region, especially if we can say in GCC, there is one thing that I have learned, that no matter how sophisticated your PMO framework is, trust that always determines whether you succeed or fail. So without trust, your PMO becomes a mere reporting function, like for example, just for sake of reporting and governance and so on. But with trust, it becomes a strategic enabler and leader. And as I told you, in a region like GCC, where relationship and credibility play a key role here in decision making, trust is not something just important. It's almost everything.
And this is excellent, Ahmet. I want to. I'm taking notes of what you're saying, so I don't forget. You just mentioned something so important here. The PMO shifting from a reporting function to a strategic enabler, right? But this is not something that happens overnight. So have you faced these challenges throughout your career as well, or maybe in the PMO that you lead today, where the PMO was more a reporting function, right, or more a compliance-driven unit? And what steps did you take to get the PMO to a point where it became a strategic enabler?
Yeah. So, well, for this, I saw this challenge, to be frank, quite often, and the core issue that many of the PMOs fail to demonstrate their own values in a way that resonates with the stakeholders, for many reasons. Like, for example, let's start with lack of business alignment. So BMOs, if they focus only on governance, reporting, and enforcing methodology rather than driving business outcomes and focus on bringing the benefits to the business and the stakeholders, um, the main stakeholders, they won't see the value of having a PMO. um, we can think about something else. Like, for example, if your PMO is too process heavy, like, for example, if there's a lot of processes that you are implementing and you are prioritizing compliance over delivery, projects, teams will see it, or will see the PMO as a kind of bottleneck rather than enabler, because they will not come to you, because they know that there's a lot of processes, a lot of hassle that they have to go through in order for them to see their own outcomes out there. Also, one of the important reasons is failure to deliver the, like, quick wins. Like, for example, PMOs, I know that trust won't build on day or night, as you know, but at least when you demonstrate to the management, to the stakeholders, a tangible results on the ground, they will start to build the trust, and it will be a good way to start building, okay, the trust, and to increase it by time. All right. And last but not least, the support of the leadership is extremely important here, because without having support from executives, your PMO will lose all the authority and the influence inside the organization, and you will end up having a PMO without kind of identity.
And
So
that's well said. Oh, go ahead, Ahmed.
yeah, so for me, in order to overcome this and to move OKPMO to be enabler and so on, I try to demonstrate the value, the outcomes, and the kind of help and services that our PMO can offer to the stakeholders. All right. And I know that by time people, they started to see this, and they will start coming to you, asking you to support them and to help them to handle their own KPIs, initiatives, and so on.
Mhm. So Ahmet, you mentioned one thing here about quick wins, which really resonates with me, right? I'm a big proponent of the PMO demonstrating value in small drops, right? And quick wins, I totally agree with you. It's an excellent way to start building that relationship, building that trust, and building that momentum, so the PMO can become that strategic enabler, right? But one thing that I wanted to ask you is that not all organizations, they appreciate the PMO, right? Or they support the PMO, right? So you may see that there are misconceptions, right? And there are, assumptions that people make that, oh, if we have the PMO engaged on a project, it's going to take longer, it's going to be more expensive. And you talk a little bit about, the PMO being process heavy, right? So I would like to ask you first, what are the misconceptions that you have seen that PMOs are facing today, and that could be from executives, that can be from project owners, that can be from the project management team as well. Sometimes they are not supportive of the PMO, right? And what would be your suggestions to overcome those misconceptions, at least to clarify them, so people understand and they can at least open up to work with the PMO?
Interesting question. Interesting question. Yeah. So for the misconception, to be frank, there is a lot. To be frank,
Mhm.
there is a lot. But the main things that I have seen in the market and based on my experience, people always they think that PMO slow things down. This is a thing that I have seen with many of the people. While the truth is, a well-functioning PMO will help to accelerate delivery by providing structure, clarity, and risk management. So it's the vice versa, right? The second one, which I saw, many people they are look at PMO as kind of bureaucratic, like compliance team. It's only a team that is focusing on enforcing a process and to complies with a kind of process and so on. While a mature PMO should focus on enabling the business strategy, not only enforcing a kind of processes and policies. Uh, I can think also about something else like BMO don't understand the business. This is also a common thing. Business always they see PMO as kind of executors. They don't know or they don't understand the business. While to be frank, from my own perspective, I believe that PMO have a great role uh, in participating in business strategy and to set the business strategy and to recommend any tips or tools to enhance the business strategy, because they have a history about the initiatives that was done in the company or in the bank or in any organization. They know they have the know-how, they have the lesson learned, they have all the history for the past projects. So for sure they will add something if they are not a main key role here in mentioning or the establishing the business strategy. At least for sure they will have a very valuable saying here in terms of the business. So I believe these are the main points which I have seen so far.
I like that. And when you're talking about PMO don't understand or doesn't understand the business, that resonates so much with me, because I have I have seen that happening to me as well, and it was a process to
Mm.
overcome that. So Ahmed, another thing that you mentioned here was about risk management, right? The PMO as a function to manage risks for the organization, right? And that's a conversation that I typically have with other PMO leaders as well. That's our main
Yeah.
job, right? Manage risks. You have the strategy and you have the results that the organization wants to achieve, and then your role is really to manage the risks so the organization the strategy can be realized and those results can be achieved, right? So if your whole process is enabling or helping to raise visibility and clarity, as you said, about the risks, right? And facilitating the decision making on the discussion about how we're going to be mitigating those risks, then I think the PMO is doing a good job in supporting the business to realize the strategy. So I love how you
Exactly.
put about the risk management aspect of it. So Ahmet, and then you were mentioning about the PMO having all this history of delivering projects and the processes and all those things. The PMO has proved themselves, right? But let's say in an organization where they never had a PMO before, this is the first time, right? And I'm a new PMO leader, for example. So what recommendations or suggestions you would have for me so I can earn the trust of my PMO customers and establish the reputation of my PMO?
I would say that first of all, you have to be part of the team. You have to listen to the business. You have to treat them as a client, okay, for you, and you have to deal with them in a way that you are there to support their own KPIs, to achieve their own KPIs, and to move forward with their own initiatives. So I believe the most important thing is to listen and to show willing that you are willing to support, and also to show also the value for them. Like, for example, if they sit with you to discuss an idea or initiative that needs to be executed. So I believe that you have to add to this okay idea. You have to discuss it with them. You have to explore it. You have to add your own ideas to it. In this way, people, they will start to feel that you are engaging with them, and you care about them, about your own initiatives. It's not about I'm taking it as it is and, like, execute it. So, and even if there is something that you feel it's wrong, or it might have um, some fault along the way. So I believe that you need also to warn them about it. Tell them that no, I don't think that you guys are doing this in the right way. I think that we can do this in this way, and so on, which will ease also your operational work, and it will decrease the risk on the operations, and so on. So by this way, they will feel that you are engaging with them, and you are listening to them, and you are part of their own team. So they will take you as a kind of advocate for them.
Okay, no, that's excellent, Ahmed. I have a couple questions here in the chat, Ahmed. So I'm going to ask those questions first. So Ahmed is saying that the business stakeholders does not know what is the PM function. They only think of us as doers only, and that's very true, right? So
Yeah.
so what would be your suggestion, Ahmed, so the PMO can be seen not only as someone who is delivering projects, but someone who can help them to enable and drive their strategy as well.
Well, so I believe that you will never be able to satisfy anyone. This is a painful fact, to be frank. So I believe that you have to work on make sure that your PMO is having the right processes, having the right structure, having the right kind of policies, service catalog, and so on. And everyone is working within these boundaries. That's number one. Number two, you have to show people on ground that you have value by delivering quick wins, as we mentioned, by making sure that all the KPIs is being achieved in the right way, by engaging with the business and the stakeholders, and by time, these kind of people that who is looking at us as an enabler, they will change their view. I'm sure about it. If they are not, then there is something wrong. And as you said, you will not be able to make all the people satisfied uh, by uh, by your services, but at least do your work, do it in the right way. Make sure that you are showing the value, you have the history, and capitalize on it, and that's it. This is for you more than enough to not even have any kind of doubts from anyone.
That's excellent. So Ahmed, I do have another question here. This one is from Dave. He's saying that in his organization there has been a big restructuring, and all the PMO leaders have been replaced with new leaders with a new mentality of being agile. And that's interesting, Dave, because I was talking to someone else about this, I think a couple of days ago. So the question
Mm.
that he has, Amit, is how can a PMO show agility and at the same time working on regaining trust of the executives and stakeholders? Which agile can be a misunderstood terminology or concept, but most business, yeah. So he basically wants to say is, I think this his question is that how the PMO can introduce agility and regain that trust from his activists. But maybe they don't understand exactly what agile means.
All right. See, for me, to be frank, I'm not a big fan of agile.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first thing, because unless you don't have a definite timeline, start and end, you are managing something which is unknown. It might take like forever for you, okay, to finish it. So agility, I believe, and I am applying also the same in my PMO. It can be used in some of the phases in a very, very good way, a very effective way. Like, for example, um, let's say like development phase. You have a development phase inside the project. We are using waterfall, all right, and there is
Mm-hmm.
a development phase inside your plan for 3 months or so. So by using agile, maybe you can reduce the time, or maybe you can combine development with SIT, okay, system testing, integration system. So both of them can run in parallel. Like for example, I will do development for the whole system in batches, and I can do SIT on it while the other work on batch two, okay, is going on. In this case, I will not wait until the end of 3 months and have one release and one big chunk, and then I will see a lot of gaps. All right. So in this case, I will apply agility in a certain phase only, which can speed up, okay, the implementation, and it can avoid any kind of gaps or conceptions, misunderstanding between the business, IT, and the vendor. All right, and at the same time, I show a kind of agility, and also the same goes with other phases based يعني on the nature of the project, based on the constraints, okay, of the project. So for me, I'm not using agile like full in terms of the project, because as you know, agile is like continuous a kind of continuous delivery. So you don't have a specific and a definite timeline to be shown to the management, as well as uh, the sponsor and the stakeholders. But you can show agility in some of the phases, all right, which can help you to speed up the whole implementation for your own project.
And that's awesome, Ahmed. I really like how you were putting the difference between agile and agility. And by the way, I was writing an article, which I'm going to be publishing this Friday on my newsletter. So if you guys follow me, you guys will see it. But I was talking exactly about how can the PMO become agile without going agile, right? So it's really about agility, right? So because that was a conversation that I was having with another PMO leader a couple of days ago, as I was saying, in and I don't know, Dave, if you work in IT or some other industry, right? Sometimes agile, right? It's not really something that you can apply in other industries, right? Sometimes it's more for IT, but there are many concepts about agile that I believe you can apply in other industries as well. But the concept about agility, right? So how can you make your projects faster, right? And that's a maybe a meaning that you have to understand from your stakeholders as well, right? So instead of, like you are saying, Ahmed, instead of me telling you, hey, this is my agile framework, so all projects will follow this Scrum ceremony, or this other agile method here, it's really understand what agile means to you, right? Because a lot of times they talk about agile, but what it truly means is that our projects are taking too long. We have to be fast, right? We have to deliver these results a lot quicker than what we have done, right? So if that's what agility means to you, right, there are many ways that you can do that. And you can start by looking at the risks. And we're coming back to risks again, right? The risks we are managing, right? You have let's say, your delivery process, right? And you may have multiple deliverables. You may have multiple sign-offs, for example, right? Do you need all those deliverables? Do you need all those sign-offs, right? If you need them, what happens if you don't have them? Right. And
Exactly.
then if you ask yourself those questions, you are going to come up with a list of risks that you are going to perhaps incur if you don't have those deliverables, or if you don't have those phases, those stage gates, those sign-offs, right? And then you do your assessment, right? Can I live with those risks, or do I have to mitigate them? If they are really critical, then yes, you need to have those controls in place. But maybe you don't need to have 50 documents being created throughout your project. Maybe you don't need all those sign-offs. Maybe you don't need all those stage gates, right? Maybe you don't need to treat all projects the same, right? As a smaller project might not need the same controls and documentation as a bigger project does, for example, right? So those are ways that you can manage the risks of your project delivery processes, right? But introduce some agility concepts as well to have that faster time to market that your executives were looking for. So just
Yeah.
an idea, Dave, that you can explore in your organization as well. Okay, so I do have a few more questions here, Ahmet. So um, Felipe is asking, what is the common strategy to get early buy-in from clients when trying to implement a new PMO function, both top-down and bottom-up? So what would be the step by steps, that you would take if you're starting your PMO in a new organization today?
Okay, so I would say that starting a new PMO in organization, first of all, you have to present to them the before and after, or the as is and to be, if we can say. So the as is, you have to mention the pain points that the place is facing in terms of failing to deliver, in terms of slowness, in terms of having risks and gaps and audit points, losing opportunities in the markets, a lot of things, and so and so. And to be is how PMO can handle or can mitigate all these points and mention it in a detailed way and mapping between the pinpoint and how PMO can address this point. People, if they say or if they see, I'm sorry, if they see the pinpoint and kind of mapping about how PMO can address these points, it will resonate to them, and they will start think about it. For example, also about the cost and the budget and the waste of the money, because as you know, a lot of organizations, they are failing to deliver, and that is a huge loss, okay, for them. And as you see, there was a recent study that was done by McKinsey and Gartner. I believe they mentioned a number around 74% of the projects are failing across organizations. So this is a huge number, to be frank. So yeah, so I believe that you need to present it in a kind of business case, and to show the value of having PMO and how it can cover the pinpoint that you have. In this way, I think that you will be able to get the buy-in very easily.
And I love this point that you just made, Ahmet, about what are the pain points, right? And how you can help those PMO customers with the pain points, right? Because I think it's a great segue for the next question that I have here from, let me see, there's so many questions now. So from Aisha. So Aisha is saying, how can I help my team understand the importance of a PMO through practical and technical steps? What key steps should I take to ensure a successful PMO during the establishment stage? So I think it's related to the pain points that we were talking about, but I'll let you answer that, Ahmed.
All right. So if I understand the question correctly, how I can support my own team, right? Understanding the
Yeah,
process, right?
the understand the importance of a PMO. How can I sell the concept or the idea of a PMO to my team and to my organization?
Okay. For me, to be frank, there's no point of selling the PMO to your team, because your team is part of the PMO, and they are there because they know the value of the PMO and so on. So I don't think that there's anyone who is working or uh, choose to work in PMO field without having a kind of agreement on the value that PMO is bringing to the business and the stakeholders. For the organization, yeah, there is a lot of ways to show the values. I would say that to have a frequent reporting of your work and the portfolio and kind of services, and to have every time, like every now and then, to have a kind of uh, a refreshment to the users about your own service catalog and what kind of services that your PMO is is offering, because people they will forget, and this is a fact. So you have to demonstrate to them, to remind them about your own value, about the services that you are offering, so that they will have every time a refreshment on this. And at the end, about reporting, okay, your own reportings, if your reportings is very good in terms of like delivery, so this is I think enough to show the value to the stakeholders and top management about your own work. And the most important thing is end of year, okay, report. So each year there should be an end of year report that consolidated all the work that has been done, okay, during the whole year. So I think this report is essential and very, very, very important for the top management, for them to see what or how PMO demonstrate the value and bring the value that they were marketing it, okay, during the year, if we can say. So yeah, I believe to have a good reporting, as we mentioned, to have a frequent sessions, okay, with the business and the team, to demonstrate your own services and so on, and to work with the team as as a business owner, as part of the team.
Hmm. Yeah, I like that, Ahmet. And if I can, my experience doing this, and typically the advice I provide to others as well, is that, uh, and it's very much aligned to your point, Ahmet, about pain points, right? Really to understand. So, for example, my team, right? Um,
Mm.
I'm talking to my project managers, and what are the roadblocks they have for a successful project delivery, right? It might be we don't have enough resources, or we have too many changes, or my vendors, right, they are not reliable, they are delaying all the time, right? So if you are talking to your project managers and you are understanding the pain points that are facing now, maybe you can find intersections of that, right? So if I'm complaining about resources and you, Ahmet, is also complaining about resources, so most likely we have a resourcing problem in our organization, right? And then for me as a PMO leader, I can dig a little bit to understand, okay, so those resourcing issues that we're having might be related to a specific team, right? So I have to work closely with that team, maybe to show them what will be the demands for those projects, specifically for that team, right? For the next few months, so they can get ready to fulfill that demand, right? Or maybe I can work with them to understand what are the challenges that I have, and then I have to work back with my PMs to revamp or reschedule a couple activities that they have in their project, so therefore they can really leverage the availability of the resources in that team, right? Or sometimes in one of the organizations I worked before, it was a generic problem across the board, right? And what I did was I started doing capacity planning for all projects in our roadmap, right? And these are going to be the demands, and sitting down with all the these actives, the resource managers, to make sure that they can provide resources or hire resources to fulfill those demands, right? So that's a way. But for other people outside of the PMO, outside of the project management team, like you were saying, Ahmet, I think the approach is very much the same, right? Talking to them about the pain points, right? So if I'm talking to, a project owner, for example, what they want to achieve once this project is completed, right? They might need to, drive revenue growth. They might need to drive some efficiencies on their team, and
Yeah.
how I can help them to achieve those things, right? What will be the indicators, the metrics, that they will need to have in place, so they can see that they are, realizing what they had in mind when they started that project. at the first place. So I think there are many ways that you can help the business, and I think your results will speak by themselves, right? But you need to have data. I would say that was, I don't know, Ahmet, if you agree with me, but I think that
Yeah,
data
totally.
is essential to show that you are providing value and they have something to make decisions, right? Without data, your decisions will be made based on gut feeling, right? Or who speaks louder, right? And that's not always there's not always a great outcome out of it. So my two
You're
cents
right.
on
Yeah.
that.
For
All right,
for
so
for
go
us,
ahead, Rodrigo.
we do have a tool to manage projects and to have a consolidation about the reportings and so on. So yeah, I believe data is very very essential.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So there is another comment here from Rodrigo. There is an overall misunderstanding with regard to what agile is, and therefore a false expectation. Agile is not a silver bullet for all types of projects and processes. Does the PMO really need to be agile in the first place? That's a great question. What do you think, Ahmed?
Can you repeat it please again?
The question is, does the PMO really need to be agile in the first place?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. It's not all the time. In some cases, in some projects, yeah, you should be agile. In some cases, no, you should execute with a very high attention and conscious. You don't want to take any kind of risks. You don't want to put yourself in very bad situation because the initiative will be very very sensitive. But I can say yes. In some cases, you should be agile, and the main purpose for you is to deliver things as much or as quick as you can. But in other cases, no, I don't think that it's a good idea to be agile all the time.
Okay. Rodrigo, you have your hand up, so please go ahead, ask your question.
Yes, Bruno, this is much more a rhetorical question than any other thing, right? I think the comment that I made is just a heads up for the fact that I've seen so many organizations, right, embarking on this agile world without understanding what agile really means, right? So I think the first, let's say, task is to understand what agile is, what are the agile principles, and if agile is really something that can help us to solve the problems we have in organizations in general, right? Once we have a good grasp of what agile is, for example, I think the next step is, okay, is being agile a good idea to solve the problems we have in the organization? If the answer is yes, okay, we can adopt some principles and some ideas of agile, right? That's my understanding.
No, that's an excellent
Good point. Yeah, good
comment,
point.
Rodrigo. Yeah. I agree with you. It will come down to risks again, Rodrigo. I always go back to risk management, man. If what is the problem you're trying to solve with agile, right? It's because you don't know exactly the scope of your projects up front, so you need to have some quick iteration so you can either see if they are going to be working with you or you can pivot to something else. Yeah, maybe if that's the case, yeah, agile might be a great solution for you. But you're thinking that, oh, now we have to be agile because we want to deliver faster. Okay, well, right. So if there are not other changes in the structure of your organization, maybe your aspiration is just a wish, right? Maybe it's not possible to be achieved if we don't change other things in your governance as well. So I love that. And Ahmad made a good comment here about one quick win that he had. He said he joined an organization that did not have a biweekly report for projects, and then he introduced that report and he got some resistance from his colleagues at first because they thought it was extra work, Ahmed. But now they are
Yeah,
satisfied with the report, and the bank and the departments can see value in having that report available on a biweekly basis. So kudos to you, Ahmed. That's a great way to start introduce valuable changes in your PMO. I love that.
exactly.
Okay. Okay. So, Ahmet, I want to pivot our conversation a little bit here, um, because you're. I know that you are working on your PhD about AI, right? So I want to ask you a few questions about AI, and if I'm establishing my PMO, I do have a PMO in place, Ahmet, and with the angle of trust, right? So is there a way for me to adopt AI in my PMO in a way that's going to help me toward trust from others?
Uh, to be frank, I don't think so. This is my own take. Because trust needs to have a human touch or human relationships. But AI could be very, very useful for any of the PMOs. In one way, so far, is to automate the daily work that is taking time uh, from us, like reporting or preparing data or doing analysis on some of the data and so on. So all of these kind day-to-day operations that usually take time can be automated and can be reduced massively by using AI. Other than this, I think trust, it should be between humans, between the PM and the PMO, along with the main stakeholders that you have. But AI is a very, very useful tool. It can help, as I mentioned, PMO to save time, which you can use to work on other things, to focus on earning trust, enhancing processes internally, to expand your own service catalog, and so on. So yeah.
That's interesting. I have an example that I'm going to mention. This is funny. I was talking to a friend of mine who is also a PMO leader, right? And she started using ChatGPT quite extensively. But she started doing that because she said, Bruno, I don't know how to manage my mood when I got a very nasty email. And, I'm very upset and I don't want to, burn some bridges, right? So ChatGPT has made me a better person, she said, because I can ask ChatGPT, I can say, ChatGPT, this is the situation that I'm in, right? I got this email. How do I respond to this email that is a way that is positive and can help to create, collaboration and improve the communication between me and this other person, right? And ChatGPT will give her some advice, and she will, of course, tailor that to her own style, right, her own ways. But she said, because of ChatGPT, I'm not fighting as much. So it was a funny way to put it, but a way that AI is helping that person to, to not at least not lose trust from others, right? It's trying to have a more collaborative communication with others. So it was fun.
It is, but for me, to be frank, is having a face-to-face conversation with the stakeholder, as well as any kind of individual in the project, in case if you have an issue, is much better than sharing emails and so on, because face-to-face discussions will be more human and emotional, and you will be able to express about your own feelings and what is the rationale behind your own email and so on. So I believe that AI, some people, they are using it as a mask, just to hide behind it and send an email. I think that the most efficient way is to have a direct, okay, connection between peoples, and in case if there is any issue, sit, figure it out, and resolve it.
And that's an interesting way to put it, Ahmet. Because AI is trying to save us time, right? So we can be more efficient. We can do things in
Yeah.
a fraction of the time that we used to spend. And I like your suggestion that now that I have that time available, right? I'm not as busy as I was before. I should be using that time to do more communication, to connect more with my team, my stakeholders, so I can continue building that trust and really listen
Yeah.
to what they need from me as a PMO leader, right? Is that the suggestion that you are conveying?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, no, that's excellent. Okay, so Aisha is saying, can you please guide us on how to create the PMO service catalog that you mentioned before? Ahmet, what are the key tips I should focus on?
All right. So basically, first of all, in order for you to build a service catalog, you have to do an assessment internally about the PMO itself, about the team capacity, about the skill set that you have, about the organization itself. Because some of the PMOs, they are more in terms of like no strategic. They are not in terms of like an execution, more in terms of VMOs, which is a new a new term now. Okay, value PMO. And based on this kind of assessment, you will be able to identify which kind of services that you can offer now right away. So I think you can build a sheets and to mention what kind of things that you can offer now, okay, right away, based on the team that you have, what kind of services that you would like to offer in the future, and what are the gaps that you have, and try to fill this gaps. So in case if you want to expand your roles to do more than execution, like for example to do governance on the business, or to do governance on some of the initiatives, you have to have the right skill set in the people in your team, so that you can add this into your own service catalog. So it's based on you, based on the organization itself. So I think the first step, as I mentioned, is just identify what kind of things that you can do it now. All right, identify it. What kind of services that you feel that adding it would add value for you and your team and the overall organization, and what are the gaps to fill in order to be able to offer this, and try to fill it. In this case, you will start to build or to have a comprehensive service catalog that can be shared and communicated and educated also to all the stakeholders in the organizations.
Mhm. So, Ahmet, I want to ask you a question because, we are all human beings, right? And sometimes we say things unintentionally, right? And that can damage our relationship with others, right?
Sure.
So, have you seen any partners, any signs where the PMO leader or the PMO might be damaging the relationship with others unintentionally, and what will be your advice then for us to be at least more aware of that, you know, of those signs, of those behaviors that we have, so we can fix that they don't repeat anymore.
Well, yeah, for sure. I face a lot of situations, same as this one, and for me, I think that being aware and always thinking about the full picture is very, very important. Uh, Stakeholders might not change, okay, in the project, but their own um, direction and feelings and intentions can change. Like for example, I have two okay different projects in two different domains with the same stakeholder. One of these projects was an automation for a task, okay, for him. So he was very supportive, and he offered the full support and for us in order to do execution and to achieve this. And the other project was to take one part of his business operation and move it to other party, and to automate also a big chunk of his kind of operations. So he was kind of pushy and reluctant because he felt that uh, this will be a dangerous move for him.
Okay, that's interesting. Rodrigo has another question. Go ahead, my
Yeah.
friend.
Hello.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Can you hear
yeah.
me? I think I lost the connection.
Oh,
No,
we can
we
still
can
hear
hear
you,
you.
Ahmet. Can you
Can you hear
hear
now?
us? Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Can you
Yeah, I
hear
can
us
hear you,
okay?
but your voice is breaking. Yeah, now it's fine. Now it's
Okay,
fine. Go
go
ahead.
ahead, Rodrigo.
Yeah, this is just a quick question. I was wondering here. Let's say that the organization doesn't have a PMO yet, okay, and this specific organization has been presenting a steady growth, right? And someone in the organization asks, okay, what is the right time to create this PMO? What is the signal or what is the token that we can see in the organization that's time to create a PMO? That's, I think we lost Ahmet. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Ahmet, are you there? Okay, I think Ahmet is trying to reconnect. We can see you, Ahmet. Oh, we lost him now. But I can share my own experience on that, Rodrigo. Um, you are asking about how we can reestablish the PMO, right? What are the signs that we can see that a PMO can add value, right? That was your question, right? Yeah. So um, there are organizations, Rodrigo, and I'll be very, very frank and honest with you all here, right? Because I have said that to other PMO leaders, and I don't want to sound um, cynical here, but not every organization needs a PMO. That's my honest opinion, right? There will be organizations where the PMO cannot help, at least where they are at the moment, right? And that's fine, right? As long as we acknowledge that, that's fine. It's the same way, like I cannot sell you a car if you don't really need a car, right? You already have a car and it's working well for you. So why am I trying to sell you a car? You don't need that, right? But sometimes you can see, right, that there are signs that you need a car. Maybe you are spending too much time taking public transportation, Rodrigo, and you want to spend more time with your family. So I can tweak that in a way that's going to make business sense for you, or maybe personal sense for you to buy a car, right? Rodrigo, would you like to spend more time with your family instead of spending time taking public transportation, right? But the way I'm framing this is not, Rodrigo, you need a car, right? I'm trying to understand the problem you have and convey that problem in a way that's going to resonate with you. And then you say, yes, I would love to spend more time with my family, right? So if you are open to that, that's the moment when I can say, then Rodrigo, I might have a solution for you, right? And I may ask you a couple more questions before I can tell you, Rodrigo, I think you need to buy a car, right? So I think one of the dangers we have as PMO leaders is coming up with solutions too quickly, right? Or you need this process, you need this governance, you need this committee, you need this, you need that, right? And really to see the signs of the organization, right? So if the organization is trying to drive more revenue, for example, right, and they are trying to go through some major changes, right, but they are not getting the traction they need, right? So you can phrase that in a way that's going to resonate with these actives, right? Because you need this active support, right? How is your transformation going, right? Are you achieving the time to market? Are you achieving the timelines, the deliverables that you promised to your board, right? Maybe you are, maybe you are not, right? Are you seeing, maybe the signs are your team is burning out, right? There are too many things on the go and people are shifting priorities all the time, right? And there's a lot of turnover, right? And that way, you may need to introduce the concept of project prioritization without telling them you need project prioritization, right? You are going to be asking, are you concerned about the turnover that you are facing in your organization? Yes. Is this impacting the major transformation that you have in your organization? Yes. Okay, so I think I can help you. I have some ideas here that we can discuss to introduce perhaps project prioritization. I'm going to explain to you how that means, right? So I'm putting the message in a way that the executives, right, are going to understand the business impact of not having a PMO, right? And I'm trying to help them with quick wins, as Ahmet was saying at the beginning, right? But introducing maybe some data, maybe doing some mapping between strategy and the many projects that we have, and try them to understand, these projects, they have a strong relationship with strategy, whereas these other projects, maybe they don't, right? So that way they can see that some projects should be perhaps deferred or stopped, whereas other projects we should be focusing a little bit more, right? So I think those are the signs that you can see where when your organization is struggling a little bit, and where a PMO can definitely add a lot of value, right? But you have to really see if there is a problem for your stakeholders, because if there is not a problem for the stakeholders, you're going to be trying to sell something that they don't need. Okay, Ahmet, you are back.
I'm sorry, Bruno. Yeah, I had a network issue.
No worries, my friend. I tried to answer Rodrigo's
Corona
question
days
here.
came back to me. Every time, like during Corona, there was an issue in the network. Can you hear me? No, I cannot hear you, and so on. So all of this. Yeah.
You are on mute, right? So all those things. Okay, my friend. So we have only 4 minutes left here, Ahmet, and
Yeah.
and of course, I don't want to finish this conversation without asking about your role with PMO Global Alliance, right? So you mentioned a little bit about that at the beginning, but for those of us who really doesn't know what PMO Global Alliance is, and your role, your involvement with it, can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. BMOGA, it's an organization that was founded a few years ago, and it was able to establish a huge community of PMO professionals and PMOs across the world. And after some times, PMI has acquired it, and there was a kind of integration. So BMO GS now is under BMI brand. BMOGA was offering two main strategic certifications. It's called PMO CP and CC, certified practitioner and certified consultant. So certified practitioner was migrated to PMI, and it was changed to certified professional. And it is one of the major certifications in PMI now, and it is considered as a gold standard. So I recommend everyone to go in for it. And the other one, the CC, which is the certified consultant, it was not migrated due to some reason, because BMI, they are not in the domain of consultations and so on. So it was retired. But whoever have it, it will be there. It will remain there, okay, forever. My role is I am the online experience in terms of the region, MENA, as well as Africa. So we have recently established hubs across the world based on the region, like Africa, America, MENA, and so on. So in MENA, we have 4 roles to be filled, and it was filled, and we have a leader also. So my role is to handle the online digital presence of the hub, and make sure that the online community is well aware about us, about this community, in order to enhance it and to increase it, and to ensure that they will have a seamless online experience. So this is, as a nutshell, my role. So I believe that all of you should go for it. It's very fruitful, okay, community, very nice. It contains tons of good individuals, as well as PMO professions, and I recommend everyone to go for this community. You will be most
And
welcome to join the family.
I left the link on the to the PMO GA regional hubs in the chat. So for those of you guys can take a look, and it's free to join. And there's a lot of good discussions in the in this community here. And I'm sure there will be events and webinars and conferences and all those great things that PMI does. But now a little bit more focus on PMO leaders as well, which was a gap that we had before. And I'm thankful to see the work that you guys are doing, Ahmet, driving the PMO Global Alliance and the PMO Pratt Guide as well, as a very helpful resource for PMO leaders to face the challenge we have every day. Okay, Ahmet, we are at time here. So any final message here for our friends if they are facing challenge to gain trust for the PMOs?
I would like to thank all of you for taking the time to join us for today's session. I hope that you found it useful and resonate to you. And we can be in touch anytime you want. You can find me on LinkedIn, and Bruno, please, if you can copy it and paste it in the chat.
I just did.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much. And I would like to hear from you in case if there is any doubt, any questions, any kind of discussion that you need to have. I will be more than happy to take it. And yeah, good luck all of you, and earn the trust of the stakeholders.
No, Ahmet, thank you so much again for taking the time. I know it's late for you, but you took the time to share your experience, share your these
My
very
pleasure.
practical tips for us to establish trust for our PMO. So I truly appreciate that. For all of you, you guys have the Ahmet's LinkedIn, so please feel free to connect with him. He's a very personable person, very approachable as well. And I'm sure that if you guys have questions, he will be happy to connect with you and answer those questions. If there are any questions for me as well, I left my LinkedIn as well. It's a pleasure to be connected with you all. And we'll continue having webinars as like these, because the intent is to really connect the PMO leadership community. So we exchange ideas, we can exchange the challenge we are facing, and we can help each other to be successful at the end of the day. So we'll have more sessions like this soon. But for today, thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you very much.